And we're back with the winner of the alternative adult alternative album of the year. Yes, adult alternative album of the year, Mr. Ron Sexsmith. And you were just telling me you were feeling overwhelmed. Explain why.
Well, you know, I've been nominated in this category maybe like 5 or 6 times, and so this is the first win.
Right.
But mostly I'm just overwhelmed because you know, this record, I mean, at least from my perspective, it didn't seem to do very well. So I was very surprised to be nominated, first of all, and so to win is just blowing my mind, you know, because at the same time I was really proud of the record, and so if I was going to win for any of them, you know, it might as well be this one. You know?
Right, it's definitely. What was it like working on this record for you?
Well, it was great because I was working with Mitchell Froome, who produced my first 3 records back in the 90s, and he's a really good friend of mine, and I just felt like you know, I was going home or something, you know, where I was working with someone that I really admired and respected. And at the time when I was making the album, also I was going through this health phase where I had you know, where they found a lump, and I was going through all these tests for, you know, and everything, you know, turned out in my favor, thankfully. But this was all going on while I was writing and recording the album, so it was kind of you know, kind of a heavy time. But you know, I was proud of the songs, and mostly I was proud of Mitchell Froome's arrangements. You know, there's a very lavish, and there's a lot of strings and horns and woodwinds, and so it was. You know, anyway, I was just really proud of the record.
Does any of that experience ever make its way into your music when you're dealing with things like that?
Well, it kind of did. You know, there was a few songs that came in at the last minute. There were 3 or 4 songs that I wrote. With all that going around in my head, you know, that
right.
kind of worrying, you know, you know, what is this thing? Is it, you know, how much time do I have? You know, mortality. I just turned 50, right? So I mean,
you don't look it.
No, well, I'm in the. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, the ravages of time, you know. But I mean, you know, but that it was definitely going through my head, like.
Right.
You know, is this my last album? What's going on, right? So, yeah.
But they say that's where the best music comes from, right? When you're in dealing with real crises and real things like that.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, I've always tried to write from my own, whatever was happening in my life, or you know, even when things were going well, you know, you take it's all good. You know, when you're a songwriter, it's hard to live with a songwriter, you know, because whatever's going on in your life or your friends' lives, it all kind of is ripe for songwriting. You know?
What do you got coming up next?
Well, you know, I have about 30 new songs that I'm hoping to record this year. I mean, you know, not all 30 of them, but I'm hoping to make a record, and so I'm just waiting on a producer right now to get back to me with the dates. You know. So.
Does it take you long to make it? Like you said, 30 songs. Does it take you long to write? Or
no. Well, I started writing these songs while I was waiting for this album to come out.
Right.
You know, because you make an album, and then it maybe, you know, a year later it finally comes out, right? So in the meantime, you're sitting around at home and you're writing, and so I stockpile. You know, so I always have more songs than I need.
Right.
And then you get together with the producer and you try to whittle it down to 10 or 12 that you need.
It must be a tough process. 30 songs, I mean, to whittle it down.
To whittle it down is tough because, for me, you get really attached to them all because they're like your children, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but you need an objective person to come in and say, okay, well, you know, it's a good song, but it doesn't fit with the record or whatever, you know, or it's not a good song or whatever, you know. But so yeah, you need all that, and I'm very open. I'm open-minded, you know. So.
Well, you're very real as well, too.
Thank you very much.
It's heavy, right? It's
oh,
hard
man, I'm going to start bench pressing this, you know. So, yeah.
Get your work on right here.
All right, thank
Congratulations
you.
to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.